Right now, as you're watching this video, there are cells in your brain that are literally programming you to copy the financial behaviors of everyone around you. And if you're surrounded by people who are bad with money, these neurons are turning you into them. I'm about to show you neuroscience research that will fundamentally change how you think about your money habits. Because here's the thing, your financial behaviors aren't really yours. They're copied. And once you understand this, you'll never look at wealth building the same way again. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that you spend more money when you're with certain friends? Or that you feel differently about money when you're around wealthy people versus broke people? That's not a coincidence. That's your mirror neurons at work. Welcome to Behavioral Wealth Lab. I'm your host, and this is where we decode the psychology and neuroscience behind wealth building. If you're tired of generic financial advice that doesn't work, you're in the right place. What we do here is different. We dive deep into the actual research, the studies that financial gurus don't want you to know about. Because understanding the psychology of money isn't just interesting, it's profitable. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how your brain automatically copies the financial behaviors of people around you, why this keeps most people poor, and most importantly, how to hack this system to literally reprogram your brain for wealth. And I'll warn you right now, what you're about to learn will make you question everything you thought you knew about your own money habits. So if you're ready to discover the neuroscience behind wealth building, let's dive in. What are mirror neurons? The year was 1996. Dr. Giacomo Rizzolatti, an Italian neuroscientist, was studying monkey brains at the University of Parma. He had electrodes implanted in a monkey's brain, specifically in the area that controls hand movements. Now they were measuring which neurons fired when the monkey grabbed a peanut. Pretty straightforward, right? But then something incredible happened. One of the researchers reached for a peanut himself, and the monkey's neurons fired. The same exact neurons. Even though the monkey didn't move, they had just discovered mirror neurons, brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you simply observe someone else performing that same action. Your brain literally mirrors what it sees. But here's where it gets fascinating. Humans have the most sophisticated mirror neuron system of any species. It's how babies learn to speak, how we develop empathy, and why yawning is contagious. These neurons are constantly scanning your environment and copying what they see. And here's the part that will blow your mind. Mirror neurons don't distinguish between good and bad behavior. They just copy what they observe most frequently, which means if you're surrounded by people who make poor financial decisions, your brain is literally learning to make poor financial decisions. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me show you exactly how this works with money. Mirror neurons and money behavior. A recent study published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that people who watched others make impulsive purchases were 67% more likely to make impulsive purchases themselves within 24 hours. 67%, just from watching. Think about the last time you went shopping with a friend who loves to buy things. How did you feel? Did you suddenly start wanting things you didn't even know you wanted? That wasn't willpower failure. That was your mirror neurons copying their behavior. Here's how it works in practice. Let's say you're at dinner with friends and someone says, I really shouldn't spend money on this expensive wine, but you only live once, right? Your mirror neurons don't hear the logic. They just register the behavior. Spending money on expensive things is normal. The scary part is this happens completely unconsciously. Your brain is constantly scanning for patterns. If you repeatedly see people complaining about money, your brain learns that complaining about money is normal. If you see people justifying unnecessary purchases, your brain learns to justify unnecessary purchases. Dr. Marco Iacoboni, a leading mirror neuron researcher at UCLA, explains it like this. We are social beings. Our brains are designed to connect with others and learn from them. But this learning happens automatically, below the level of conscious awareness. Which means you might think you're making independent financial decisions, but you're actually just copying the behaviors you've observed most frequently. And if those behaviors are keeping people poor, but this gets even more disturbing when you understand the concept of financial contagion. Stay with me, because this next part will change everything. The financial contagion effect. Harvard researchers Nicholas Christakis and James Fowler spent decades studying how behaviors spread through social networks. Their findings were published in the New England Journal of Medicine and later in their book, Connected. They discovered that behaviors spread through social networks like viruses. If your friend becomes obese, you're 45% more likely to become obese. If your friend gets divorced, you're 75% more likely to get divorced. And yes, if your friend develops poor money habits, you're significantly more likely to develop poor money habits. Here's how financial contagion works in real life. Sarah starts complaining about how expensive everything is. Her friend Lisa starts noticing high prices too. Lisa mentions this to her sister, who starts feeling anxious about money. Soon, an entire social network is focused on scarcity instead of abundance. Or consider this. Mike justifies buying a new car by saying, "I deserve it after working so hard." His brother hears this and uses the same logic to justify a vacation he can't afford. His friend at work hears about the vacation and decides he deserves a new TV. The behavior spreads. What's happening is that your mirror neurons are constantly updating your definition of normal based on what you observe. If everyone around you is struggling with money becomes your normal. Think about your own family. Did your parents argue about money? Did they make comments like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "We can't afford that"? Your mirror neurons absorbed all of that. Those aren't your original thoughts about money, they're copied programming. And here's the most important part. This copying happens in both directions. Just as easily as you can copy poor financial behaviors, you can copy wealthy financial behaviors. But first, you need to understand exactly why this system keeps most people trapped. Why this keeps people poor. The reason mirror neurons keep people poor is simple. Most people are surrounded by other people who are struggling with money. And when you're constantly exposed to scarcity thinking, your brain learns that scarcity is normal. If you regularly hear people say things like, "I can't afford that," your brain learns to say, "I can't afford that." If you see people avoiding investments because they're too risky, your brain learns to avoid investments. If you watch people buy things to feel better about themselves, your brain learns emotional spending. There's a phenomenon called the crab bucket effect. If you put crabs in a bucket, any crab that tries to climb out gets pulled back down by the others. The same thing happens with money. When someone in a group starts talking about saving money or investing, what usually happens? Other people make jokes about it, or they find reasons why it won't work, or they change the subject. It's not conscious sabotage, it's unconscious social pressure to maintain group consistency. Your brain is wired to fit in with your social group for survival reasons. Standing out financially, whether by becoming wealthy or by changing your money habits, feels dangerous to your unconscious mind, so it copies the behaviors that keep you similar to everyone else. But here's the incredibly powerful part. Once you understand the system, you can use it to your advantage. You can literally reprogram your brain for wealth by being strategic about what behaviors you expose yourself to. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do right now. This is the part where everything changes. The mirror neuron wealth strategy. Here's your step-by-step guide to using mirror neurons to build wealth instead of destroy it. I call this the mirror neuron wealth strategy, and it's based on cutting-edge neuroscience research. First, audit your financial environment. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now honestly assess, are these people financially successful? Do they have positive or negative money conversations? Are they building wealth or just getting by? This might be uncomfortable, but remember, you're not judging these people as human beings. You're simply recognizing that your brain is copying their financial behaviors, whether you want it to or not. Second, deliberately expose yourself to wealthy behavior patterns. Follow financially successful people on social media. Listen to podcasts by millionaires. Read books by wealthy entrepreneurs. Your mirror neurons will start copying these behaviors instead. Third, join communities where good financial behavior is normalized. This could be investment clubs, entrepreneurship groups, or even online forums where people discuss wealth building seriously. When you're surrounded by people who invest, save, and build businesses, Those behaviors become your new normal. Fourth, be extremely protective of your mental environment. If someone starts complaining about money, redirect the conversation or remove yourself from it. If someone tries to justify unnecessary spending, don't participate in that rationalization. Fifth, become a positive financial influence for others. When you start modeling good money behaviors, you're not just helping yourself. You're helping everyone around you through the same mirror neuron system. Remember, your brain is like a computer that's constantly being programmed by your environment. Make sure it's being programmed with the right software. Look, what I've just shared with you isn't just interesting science. It's a complete framework for rewiring your brain for wealth. Most people will never understand that their financial behaviors are copied, not chosen. But now you do. The question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you going to keep letting your mirror neurons copy the behaviors of people who struggle with money? Or are you going to be strategic about reprogramming your brain for wealth? If you want to keep learning about the psychology and neuroscience behind wealth building, subscribe to Behavioral Wealth Lab right now. We're going to dive deep into research that most people never hear about, research that can literally change your financial future. In upcoming videos, I'll show you the Diderot effect, how one purchase can trigger a wealth-destroying spiral. I'll explain temporal discounting, why your brain sabotages your retirement savings, and I'll reveal the Zeigarnik effect, how to use unfinished financial goals to motivate yourself toward wealth. This isn't just about watching videos. It's about joining a community of people who understand that wealth building is psychology, not just math. When you subscribe, you're surrounding yourself with other people who are serious about understanding the science behind money. Remember, every day you're not consciously choosing your financial environment, your mirror neurons are unconsciously copying whatever behaviors happen to be around you. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Subscribe now, and let's start reprogramming your brain for wealth. Your future self will thank you. See you next time.